Kind of makes me feel like I should drink my beer with my pinky out, but as y'all can probably tell, I have no glass. I am a redneck. I do have a monotone delivery. Unfortunately, I do have two emotions, hungry and horny, and if you don't have a sandwich, you're screwed tonight. Well, except for this crowd, it looks like I'm screwed by myself, unfortunately. As y'all can tell, I'm a little bit of an overweight fella. Many years ago, me and my ex-wife, both of us were rather large people, traveled to the beach, and we're laying out on Panama City, you know, enjoying the sun and listening to the surf. And about halfway through the first hour, Greenpeace showed up and kept trying to roll us back in the water. Scared the shit out of them when I started talking to them, which kind of scared me too, to be honest with you, because they didn't know I had that. Like I said, I'm really an overweight fella. I realized I had gained way too much weight when I was cutting my toenails, and I woke up on the floor with my toenail clippers laying across the floor mocking me, which was kind of embarrassing. But eventually that particular marriage finally ended, and what finally killed it for us was the fact that the memory foam mattress we both slept on remembered our fat asses every time we got up. Quite frankly, it was really embarrassing. So I decided, you know, hey, I'll move on and get into the whole single scene. And I started dating, and my first date out of the chute was a blind lady, a truly blind lady, actually. I decided I was going to let her read my face and get a feel for what I looked like. And as she was reading my face, it came to be obvious she felt like she was reading a Stephen King horror novel. Couldn't put that book down. I decided after that I was no longer going to date, so I decided to start cruising all these mail-order bride advertisements in these magazines, and I kept looking. I went to the Taiwanese, I went to the Japanese, I went to all of them. Finally settled on the Russian mail-order brides, simply because they were the cheapest. And what I probably should have really looked at was the fact that there was some assembly required to that whole situation. My first package came in, I had 2 eyeballs and a unibrow. At least I'm assuming it was a unibrow. It did smell kind of fishy.
American.
Yeah, that was a groaner, wasn't it? That really was. Damn, I lost my place again. I realize my time is limited up here, so I'm going to shoot straight to the end of it. I guess my big finisher. I've been up here, what, grand total of 2 minutes? 2.5? 2.5. Has it been that quick?
Yeah.
I'm getting more comfortable with the microphone now, I think.
All right.
I still feel like a man in prison on the first day, you know. It's like, hey, get out of there. That shit don't belong there, brother. I guess I'll never get over the butterflies. As he mentioned, I am from Louisiana. I was not born and bred there, but I lived there long enough to be a Cajun. In fact, when Swamp People first came on, I became one of the most homesick fuckers you've ever seen in your life. I watched it and watched it and watched it and almost had tears coming down my face, and realized I'd watched it too long when I was washing my blue jeans, and I reached in the washing machine to pull them out to throw them in the dryer, and they about pulled me back in the thing, and all I heard was, "Chew them, Elizabeth, chew 'em." You have to be a Swamp People fan to get that one. That's a Troy thing. He sounds just like my best friend Boogie's dad. Boogie was a rather interesting individual. He was my best friend when I lived there. He's still my best friend today. In fact, I finally went back and saw him a couple of months ago. I didn't find out until about 2 years ago that Boogie was cross-eyed and couldn't see straight to save his life. And he was carrying me all through these swamps on these 3-wheelers and boats, and we never got lost. And come to find out, he was actually counting trees to tell where we were at and where we needed to go. And it scared the hell out of me, because I was worried that if somebody cut a tree down, we were going to get fucking lost. But he has a GPS in his head, so I'm cool with that now. I didn't know it then, so I guess I made it through there. But Damn, I done forgot what I was gonna say about him now. I'm having that senior moment. I'm partly blonde, shaved my goatee this week, and it's kind of fucked my whole world up. But anyhow, like I said, I'm from Louisiana. I went back to visit him a couple of months ago. We went camping. Spent the entire week on the banks of Lake Larto outside of Pineville, Louisiana. That was the same weekend that I learned that I could climb a tree with my pants around my ankles and that wild bear do shit in the woods. It was rather enjoyable week in spite of those two incidents. And like I said, I was married for a while, so I'm gonna jump around here for real quick and go ahead and get to my guess, my big finish. I am a dad. I have two sons, 20-year-old and a 10-year-old. I had to think about that one. I think he just had a birthday. I'm not real sure. That's the one that doesn't like me. But I was Dad of the Year for 20 years running. I've got all the t-shirts to prove it, coffee mugs, you name it. I had recently had to give up all of that stuff simply because I lost that honor. You would have thought it was the time that my 20-year-old son was asleep on the couch and I slipped one of them dog shock barking collars around his neck. So every time it snored, it shocked him, which made him yell, which shocked him, which made him yell. Took me 2 weeks to find him. You would have thought it would have been the time that my 10-year-old son was playing Pokemon and got so excited because he caught a dildo on that particular game. It was a slip of the tongue. It was supposed to be a ditto, but I had to explain to him what a dildo was. I just didn't bother telling him what it was for. And I made him actually ask me so he would be comfortable asking me a question like that. And he looked at me, he said, "Dad, what is a dildo?" And I said, "Well, son, it's a fake dick." And the expression he had was like, what in the hell would anybody need that for? I didn't bother explaining that to him. I told him I'd explain that in about 5 more years. What finally cost me my Dad of the Year status was the fact that I told my kids, both of them, that I loved them dearly, but only as friends, and I felt like we needed to see other parents. That pretty much killed it for me right there. And unfortunately, that's about as big a finish as I got, other than doing a cartwheel. And if you ever seen a fat redneck in boots do a cartwheel, hang on a minute. Come on up here, Mario. Let's take over, brother.
Keep going for 10 Wangle, everybody.